The whole house is rumbling from this thunder. It's crazy. All right, so topic that I wanted to discuss. Shabbat Shalom. I have a donut in my mouth. One intends to become a long-term hodler without laddering in buys. Firms with trend lines, increasing the amounts. And a good way to establish that position. So, overall, at a macro level, something you got to consider. Overall strategy, look at everything logically. You got to remove emotion. Everything is based on very simple math and probability. You have to ignore emotion. You have to focus primarily on mitigating your risk. Limiting your risk should be your primary concern. Don't worry about how much money you'll make. Don't worry about your potential profit. Worry about mitigating risk. Once you accept that that's the end-all, be-all, reducing your exposure and mitigating your risk, accept that that's the most important aspect of investing, and it'll completely change your outlook in every other respect, in all aspects. So let me give you an example in the context of what we're discussing here. Long-term investment strategies, whether or not you should ladder in, you don't sell unless you lose. The most important thing is maintaining your capital. Don't worry about making profits. Worry about maintaining your capital, because once it's gone forever, and this is why. Forget about the fact that you've been taught by other people that, oh, you don't sell unless you don't lose unless you sell. Once you sell and you realize a loss, now you've lost. If you don't sell and you're just down, you haven't actually lost anything. Forget about that. I'm going to tell you why that's utterly absurd, but just assume for a second you haven't been taught that and you're starting with a fresh outlook, and let's start from the beginning. If reducing your risk is the most important thing, then that'll sort of answer itself in the long run, but we'll get to that. So, if you have $100 and then the market goes on a tear and it goes up 100%, you just doubled your money. Now you have $200. But what if you have $100 and you have a 10% loss, so it goes down to $90? Now you have $90 left. When the market goes up 100%, you're only going to have $180. When the market doubles and you double your money, you're only doubling $90. You don't have $100 anymore to double. So whether you sell and realize your loss is irrelevant. Any gains that you get forever are going to be reduced because of that loss. You have lost. Whether you think so or not, you have. You're down. You no longer have that capital. That capital is gone. If you have $100 worth of coins and that becomes $90 worth of coins, you're never going to recover that money. So if you and I are paralleled, right? I have $100 worth of coins. You have $100 worth of coins. I get out when I'm at a loss, and I only have $95 left, but I sell. But I still have 95. You don't sell. You say, no, I'm not going to sell, because then you're taking a loss. Well, now you're down to $90. I sold earlier, so I have 95. When we go on a run and the market goes up 100% and we double our money, I made $95. You only made $90. Then say the next time the market goes on, huh?
And this scales, so like it just goes on and on. And
yeah,
on.
obviously, yeah. So then the next time we go up, now I have, I had $100 and went down to 95, and then I doubled my money. So I ended up with $190. You went down to $90 and doubled your money. You ended up with $180. So let's say the same thing. From this point forward, we do everything identically. I sell when I sell. We sell together. We buy together. Whatever we do is the same. That one time, I lost 5% and you lost 10%. I went from $100 to $95. You went from $100 to $90. Even if, for the rest of our investing career, we do every single trade in unison and we're identical across the board, you're never going to make as much as me. Because I started with more capital, I had that extra 5%, and you're never going to be able to recover it. If we both make 100% profit, I have 190, you have 180. If I then make another 100% profit, I have $380, and you're going to have $360. So no matter what, there's no way to recover it. Once it's lost, it's lost. Whether you sell or whether you hold that position is irrelevant. It does not make a difference. We'll get to questions, whatever. All right, let me see what it says. If I have $100 and got in before a whale or institution decides where at the bottom, you'll be forced to buy a higher price than I did. Your argument works both ways. Well, it does, but everything is based on probability and risk. So the difference is you can miss. It's fine to miss out on gains. You could always potentially make more money. You're never going to recover those losses. Once you're down, it's forever. It's never come. Holy shit! I think my house just got struck by lightning. Jesus Christ. Oh. You okay, pups? They're probably freaking out. You can never get that back. You can miss out on potential gains and then just go and make money later. You could find another play and make more. You could find a better play and make more. Once it's gone, it's gone. Once you no longer have that capital is gone forever and you're never going to be able to get it back. Any gains you make in the future are going to be based on a lesser amount of capital. And then there's also the fact that when you're dealing with probability and everything, the probability when you see the market going down that you selling now and buying back cheaper is much higher than the probability that you sell and then instantly the bear trend ends and everything goes to the moon. Because nobody actually thinks that's gonna happen. There's a very, very small chance of that happening. So you're basing it on risk. If you're saying that I'm laddering in and I'm gonna buy every time Bitcoin goes down another $500, I'm gonna put another $10,000 into it. You're conceding to me that you believe it's going to be going down. You still think it's going to go down further. You just want to buy each time it does go down. So if that's what you believe, then why would you buy now if you could just, instead of buying $10,000 every $500 on the way down, why not wait till it goes down $1,000 and then put all your money in at that point? Makes absolutely no sense to slowly ladder in and buy at higher prices. Now, if you have a strategy where you're basing everything on supports, you can look and say there's support in this range. The chances of us going down below this level are low, and you're basing it on probability. There's an 80% chance that we go down once we pass this level. There's an 80% chance that we're going to keep going down to the next support. There's a 20% chance that we're not, and we're going to go up. So you're going to bet on that probability. You're going to work it so that probability is in your favor, and then when you enter that trade, if it goes down to that support level and breaks it, you can sell and then buy back at the next level because there's an 80% chance that you're going to be right. If you work the probability, then it's in your favor. It's just like gambling in a casino. The best odds in the house is the pass line on the craps table. So playing any other bet, playing blackjack, you're never going to have as good odds as you would playing the pass line on the craps table. It's just a mathematical certainty. Those are the best odds in the house. So you're playing those odds and playing the probability. That's the entire point of investing. In this context, what we're doing here, investing, is a lot different than in traditional treasuries and equities and commodities. There's a higher risk, but it's also heavily predictable and modelable. There is a lot of manipulation, but the market is substantially more aligned with those self-fulfilling prophecies I've discussed before, and that makes it easier to model. But I'm going to get to a simpler level because I dove even further in. Hold on a second. Let me see. So, and then one of the other things that people say is, well, I don't care if I buy it $100 or $50 because later on, it's going to be worth $50,000. So why does it matter to me if I'm buying it $100 or $50, right? Anybody?
Because you lost money.
Anybody here who's in the YouTube stream who has made that same argument? I don't care if it's $50 or $100 when I'm buying it because it's going to be $50,000, and that's what I'm betting on. I'm betting on it being $50,000 down the road. So it doesn't matter if it's 100 or 50 now. Is there anybody in this stream who feels that way, who agrees with that statement? Because I can explain why that's not correct and why you've been misled if you've been told that before.
Going once, going twice.
Let me see something.
I think we're in the middle of a ABC, dude, and it's gonna bounce to like.
Okay, so let me so in that example, people always say that. I don't care if it's down if it's $100 or $50. If I buy in now, the price doesn't matter. It's going to be $50,000 in 3 years from now, and that's what I'm betting on. It's long term. So don't give me your crap about getting in at the lowest possible price. Well, the difference between $50 and $100 is 100%. when you say that, when you say, I don't care if it's $50 or $100, because it's going to be $50,000 one day. What you're saying to me is, I don't care if I buy it now, because later it's going to be $50,000. Well, if you did care now, later it would be $100,000. Literally 2 times the price. So you're essentially saying is, I don't care if I make $100,000 or $50,000. That's what you're saying. Makes no sense. You do care, and you should care. You want to get in at the lowest possible price. There's no reason to get in at a higher price if there's a higher probability that it's going to go down. And there's other ways to look at it too. So one of the other things you just said is where you have to 10x to get back up. So think about this. If you lose 50% on a trade, some people are like, and this is the easiest way to think about it, right? Where you're thinking about staying in long term, and you don't lose unless you sell. That's such a ridiculous statement. You've still lost. You have to make back that money. So if you start with $100 and you lose 50% on your position, and now you're down to $50. To get back to $100, your initial investment, you need that same coin to go up 100%. You need to 2x it, right? If it goes down 90%, like the example somebody typed out, if it goes from $100 to $10, you're going to need it to 10x just to get back to where you were, just to get back your original money. So if you have ABC coin and you have $100 worth of ABC coin, and then you lose 50%, and now you have $50 worth of ABC coin, forget about what you're holding or how long you're holding it, and long-term, short-term. Ask yourself a simple question. If you had $50 right now to invest in a coin, would you invest it in ABC coin, or is there another coin that's a better opportunity? Stop thinking of it as if I'm down and I want to wait till I get back up and I don't want to sell at a loss. Erase that from your vocabulary. There should be no such thing as selling at a loss or anything. When you're down, you have $50 left. Either you invested in ABC or you invested in XYZ. What's going to give you the highest probability of success? What's going to be the best investment moving forward? ABC coin or XYZ coin? If you happen to be in ABC and you've lost 50% on that trade, fine, it's done. You lost 50%. But now moving forward, where is your remaining $50 best suited? Does it go back into ABC coin, or is there another opportunity that's better? Moving it over into another opportunity doesn't mean that you've taken a loss that you otherwise wouldn't have taken. You're already down. It's exactly the same. Once you go down 50% and you went from $100 to only having $50 worth of it left, where you currently are is as if you sold and now you have a $50 bill. And now with that $50 bill, you have to decide whether you're putting it in ABC coin or XYZ coin. So when people say, if it's not realized, you haven't lost, they're saying that when you go from $100 to having $50 of that coin, you haven't actually lost the $50. You have. In order to get back to 100, you need ABC coin to do a 100% run. You need it to double in price to get back to your original investment. You have absolutely lost it. So saying that because it's unrealized it hasn't been lost is completely illogical. There's no logical basis for that position. There is no logical argument that anybody could put forth to justify that position. It's simply not logically possible. Let me catch up on the comments. So, a person who pyramids and hodl will always guarantee themselves that their biggest buy will be at or near the very bottom. That's not true at all. If you put $10,000 in now and every $500 on the way down, then you might put in $50,000, and then all the way at the bottom, your last buy is another $10,000 buy, but all that money had been going in higher. You're not guaranteeing you're going to be, if anything, you're doing the opposite. You're guaranteeing that you're going to be buying higher. You'd be better off having stop losses and selling off every time it goes down so you could buy down at a lower price. And I'm talking about at an intro level. Some of this is more complicated, so I don't want to get too far into it. And I want to talk to some newer traders who are trying to get a grasp on how they should do it. And if you want to trade long term, there's good ways to do it. I trade that way. I have 50% of my portfolio was in longer term stuff that I had no intention of selling until the price got really, really low and I was very confident the price was going to keep dropping. Then it was worth it and I did sell it. And now as a result, I have twice as many coins as I used to if I bought it back right now, which I'm going to get to that example in a minute. Let me just finish running through some comments. Some of my shitcoins, etc. coins disappeared while holding and waiting for a 10x. Listen to this guy and protect your capital. Correct. Yep, that capital is the most important thing. Like, just because those shitcoins, they very well may do 100x, a 10x, and get back to where they used to be. That might be possible, but is that your best chance at getting that money back? Is that really the best opportunity you have is waiting for XRP to go back to $3? You really think your best chance right now is to hold your TRX that you got at 27 cents and wait for it to go back to 27 cents? You don't think that there might be a better opportunity if you take your remaining capital and put it in VET or ONT or EOS or NOLs? Obviously, those are better opportunities in most cases. And for people who aren't active traders, I get it. You don't want to have to jump around from coin to coin. That's totally fine. All I'm saying is that when the price was collapsing on those coins, if you had gone back and sold halfway through when everybody knew that the price was going to keep going down and bought it back later, you would have gotten twice as many coins for the same amount of money. You would have doubled the size of your position, or you would have cut the cost of your investment for the same potential reward. You could look at it either way. You're making 50% on it. You would have doubled your potential returns or cut in half your potential investment. So there's lots of benefits to doing it, and there's ways to take advantage of this sort of logical trading method as opposed to using just buy and hold. There are ways where you're not trading every day. You don't have to be an active trader. You can, instead of buying Bitcoin today, all I'm saying is buy it in 3 weeks from now, 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks from now, when it's lower. It doesn't have to be the bottom, the lowest price you could possibly get to, but don't buy it now if it's going to be lower then. Instead of buying $10,000 worth now, $10,000 next week, and $10,000 the next week, just wait and buy $30,000 in 3 weeks. Skip the first 2 steps, and you're going to be making a substantial amount of money just by doing that. And then from that point forward, if you resume your $10,000 every time it goes down $500, you can resume that. But for the first few times, if you just happen to not buy at the higher price and wait till it's lower, you're already making a substantial thousands and thousands of dollars you're saving. Let me see if there's any other comments. That's why you should play market in the same way as moron. Yep. Shorting your own portfolio. That's, again, a more complex, advanced topic, but yes, if it's $100 and you're waiting to buy at 50.
People tell me a letter so that I don't miss the
bottom. You might end up chasing up and getting in a price higher than 100. No, I'm not assuming a 50% drop. I'm saying that it's just one hypothetical example. So this is the difference. If you buy it at $100 and it goes down to $50, you would have been better off buying it at $50. If you don't buy it at $100 and then it goes up to $110 and you miss out on a 10% gain, that's fine because you didn't lose any capital. So now you have the potential to catch up. You can now make moves and still make money. If you lost that capital, there's no way to really ever get it back. There's always going to be more opportunities, but once you take a loss, you now have to make twice as much to ever recover what you originally had. It's twice as hard to make that back. So you're better off missing out on the first 10% run. So a lot of the time, I'll spot a breakout and I won't buy it until it's up 10%. I bet on it going up 20%, but I don't actually get in until it's up 5 to 10%, and then I consider that a confirmation of my breakout theory. If I have a theory that this coin is going to hit this line and bounce up and break out from there, I wait until it's 5% above a support or resistance line. Once I have that 5% gap, then I'll enter in, I'll write it up, and I'll make a 10% profit. I could have made a 15% profit on it, but I gave up that first 5% for security, to lower my risk, to reduce my exposure and mitigate my risk. So I don't have to worry about taking a loss. I had that much more confidence that I was going to make a gain. So I would rather be guaranteed a 10% gain than potentially make a 15% gain, but there's also a really good chance I may lose it. I'd rather have that certainty and reduce my risk and give up some of my profit. As long as I'm not giving up my actual capital and I'm just losing out on potential profit. That's a big distinction, and that's why mitigating risk is and maintaining your capital is the most important thing you could do. Because once you lose capital, it's twice as hard to make it back. Let me see. You see that in the bear market, I'm going to trim this down. 80% chance of it going down. No, so being at 6,400 after falling from 20,000 there's a lot less risk. Do you believe that 6,400 is the absolute bottom? So let me give you two hypotheticals. One, it's not the absolute bottom. We are going down quite a lot more, like me and pretty much everybody agrees we're going to. Most people think that we are going to go down quite a bit more. So instead of buying at 6,400, buy it at a lower price. Now, the other hypothetical, let's say I'm wrong. Let's say it spikes up to 7,000 and then it goes to 20,000 from there. No more bear market. It's over. Correction just ends prematurely. I'm wrong. A bunch of people are wrong about us correcting. Very possible. If that happens, you might end up buying it a little higher than you would have. But that's fine. You just missed out on a little bit of potential profit, but you haven't lost any of your capital. By losing out on your capital, it takes twice as much to make that back. That's why preservation of capital and risk mitigation is the most critical thing you could do for that exact reason. So it's fine if the price goes up a little bit. That's fine as long as the price isn't. As long as I'm not losing my capital. Let me see. Drop to 5K, another 25% loss from here. Exactly. Not sure this is the right time to ask. Thoughts on ETC? It's not the right time to ask. I'll look later if you DM me about it or something. I'd rather wait till the trend is up. Yeah, I only buy when it's going back up. I don't buy when things are going down. I think it's insane to buy when stuff's going down. It makes no sense. People tell you to ladder so you don't miss the bottom. By definition, by laddering, you are missing the bottom. You're buying at a higher price so that you don't have to buy at a higher price. Matt, like, come on. You see the problem with that, right? People tell you to ladder because if you ladder, you won't miss the bottom. If you buy it at a higher price, you don't have to worry about buying it at a higher price. What the hell type of logic is that? It makes no sense. Like, absolutely no sense. You guys can convince me of anything. You can convince me that I should buy nothing but Tron, go all in, and trade Tron long term or day trade. You can convince me of anything if you give me a logical, valid argument why you're right and why I'm wrong. I will happily say, whoa, you just educated me and taught me something I didn't know. I love being taught things I didn't know. I love being wrong. When I'm wrong about something, I'm so happy and proud to admit it, number one, because it's pretty cool when you're that comfortable in your own skin that you can be proud to admit when you're wrong. I obviously, respect that about other people, and I'm proud to be able to do that myself. But on another level, when I'm wrong, that means I just learned something new. I just found something out I didn't know before, and I just got better at something. So people on Twitter can make fun of me for being wrong about a play, but because I was wrong about that play, I'm now better than that person at something. I'm now more skilled than they are because I learned a lesson by being wrong that they didn't learn. So I now have a skill, and I am now smarter and better and more equipped to succeed than they are. So they can talk as much crap as they want. Being wrong is not a bad thing. So if you can explain to me why I'm wrong, I'm happy to admit that I am. But in this context, it's going to be very hard to do so because I have logic on my side, and I have yet to see a single logical argument to compete with the positions that I put forth. But I love talking about it and discussing it. I think it's important, especially for newer people who need to get an understanding of these concepts, and just hearing people in some group tell them, like, cliches. You don't lose unless you sell, and always buy the dip. Like, okay, that's very helpful. Thank you for educating a new investor. You've done a great job. If you buy it on uptrend, I'm sure that works if you know it's going to go down. Well, you're always betting on it going one way or the other. So either you think it's going to go down or you think it's going to go up. People who are laddering in are saying, I think it's going to go down, but I'm buying now anyway, so I'm ready when it does go up. It's a logically inconsistent argument. It's contradictory in and of itself. They're contradicting themselves. By laddering in as opposed to buying everything right now, you're telling me that you believe it's going to go lower. But your reason for buying it now instead of at the lower price is because you don't want to miss the bottom and you want to already have it, so when it does go up, you don't miss the bottom. It's logically inconsistent. It's a contradiction. The other thing we were talking about earlier, what was I just thinking? I just threw myself off. Don't remember. Anyway, so yeah, it's all based on probability and risk. So yeah, there's a chance that I'm wrong, and it is going to go up. The market can go up to 20,000 tomorrow. It's just very, very unlikely that that's going to happen. So when you're investing, you're making a bet. You're gambling. You're betting that the market's going to go up or go down. If you think it's going to go down, then wait and buy lower. The only time that strategy of laddering in and not selling on dips or not selling to buy back, 2 points. Number one, and one of these is really important. Number one is if you have a huge amount of money, you can't buy $5 million worth of Bitcoin in a single order. You can't just go on Coinbase and buy $5 million worth of Bitcoin. For those people, you have to ladder in. You have to buy OTC, over the counter, where it's not on an exchange and people can't even see those orders. There's no order book. Or you have to, so it's either off the record, over the counter, or you have to do it on an exchange over time. And every couple days you could place another $20, $30, $40, $50,000 order. But you can't spend $500,000 in a single order all at once. So for those people, there is a validity to a need for that sort of longer-term strategy. And then something else. For those who don't understand what shorting is, just a quick explanation. When you short on margin, you go to an exchange and you say to them, hey, I think Bitcoin's going to go down. So they let you borrow one of their Bitcoin. You sell that Bitcoin for $7,000. The price then goes down to $6,000. You buy that Bitcoin back, and now you have $1,000 left over, right? So you borrow a Bitcoin from Bitfinex. You sell that Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin goes down $1,000. You buy it back for $1,000 cheaper than you sold it. And then Bitfinex says, hey, give us our Bitcoin back. You give them their Bitcoin back plus a percentage of the profit. So 10% of that $1,000 you made, you give them their Bitcoin plus that 10% fee, part of the profit you made. And that's what trading on margin is. You're borrowing from an exchange, you're selling it, and then you have to buy it back and give them what you have to essentially pay them back in that coin. That's pretty much what's happening when you short sell a coin, just like if you're short selling a house. So you can actually short sell your own positions, which is what I do. The only type of shorting I do. If I have 100 tokens of ABC coin and it's $100 per coin, I have $10,000 worth. If it then goes down to $90 per coin, right? So if I were to sell it, if I sold 100 coins at $100 per coin, I get $10,000. And then it goes down to $90 per coin. Now I can buy back 100 coins at $90 a coin, and I have the exact same position I had earlier. I still have 100 coins. My long-term investment is the same. I'm holding 100 coins because I think it's going to go up a lot in the future. The difference is, the first time I bought 100 coins, it cost me 10 grand. This time I bought 100 coins, it cost me 9 grand. So I just saved myself $1,000, but I have the exact same position I would have otherwise had. I still have 100 coins moving forward. So I just shorted my own positions, bought it back cheaper, and I don't have to give a percentage to an exchange, and there's no extra risk involved. So that's another trading strategy that you can employ. And one of the good ideas, one of the things about that is it helps you to sort of understand what we're talking about here. Instead of buying at a higher price, wait for the price to go lower. It's the same thing as shorting. If you're shorting, if you think the price is going to go down, then don't ladder in at this price. If you think the price is going to go down and you're betting on the price going down, then you wait until the price is lower and that's when you buy. It's the same thing as shorting. What some people are saying is, no, I would rather buy at a higher price and wait for the lower price because I'm not sure if we're going to get the lower price. That's just like saying, well, I'm not really going to short because I'm not sure the price is going to go down. But there are ways to mitigate risk, and there's ways that it's still beneficial no matter what. You don't, like I said, you don't have to get the absolute bottom. So say right now you had orders to buy Bitcoin every $100 on the way down. You can keep that plan. All I'm saying is maybe the first 2 or 3 orders, don't place those. Instead of buying at 6,600 and 6,500 and 6,400, skip those orders and take that $300 and wait until you get down to 6,200 and just do $500 at once at 6,200. If you want to also buy on the way down at 59 and 58 and 5,700, that's fine. You can keep going with it. But on one of those occasions, just one of those buys, if instead of buying at the higher price, you wait and buy twice as much at the lower price, you are significantly benefiting more so than you would if you had just bought originally. It makes a huge impact. All you have to do is be right once. Just like with my strategy, where what I do is, just to show you on this chart here, like this Bitcoin chart, right? I'll bet on the price going up. It hits this support and resistance. And then some people, so say it goes up to that sort of support and resistance. Some people say, oh, I would take profit at that price. I never take profit. I don't actually sell and take profits. Instead, what I do is I'll place a stop loss order right here. So if the price comes back down and it stops me out, then I get stopped out. I miss out on 3% profit, right? Because instead of having 10% profit, since I had the stop loss and it was 3% below my 10% profit, I get stopped out. I only get 7% profit. But if I'm right just one time about that, and instead of it coming back down, instead of taking profit, it actually goes up again. So when you take profit, what I do, instead of taking profit, I move my stop loss up, right? So if I'm right just one time, so say this time I'm right, and instead of the price coming down and stops me out, it goes up another level to up here to 7,000. I can then move my stop loss up a level to the same price I was at 68.60. That was the price when I said, should we take profit or not? Remember? So if I were to get stopped out at this price, I'm going to get just as much profit, the exact 10% profit I would have gotten if I had taken profit to begin with. So if I sold at that level in the first place and I would have gotten 10%, I've now guaranteed myself the identical profit if I were to just be right one time. And then if I'm right two times and I'm able to move up my stop loss one more level, I've now guaranteed myself more profit than I would have made if I had taken profit in the first place. And that can keep going. So there's all this potential. I can keep moving my stop loss up as the price of the coin keeps going up over time. You only have to be right the first time, and you've already come out on top. So that's my example with buying too early. If you're laddering in or buying on the way down, if you just wait on one of those orders, you have 15 orders placed, right? Every time Bitcoin goes down $250, you're buying more. If you wait on just one of those, you've already saved money and made money. You only have to be right one time. So even if you want to keep that strategy and keep doing it, that's totally fine. But just listen to me and think about it logically. You only have to be right one time for it to pay dividends, for you to get substantial benefits from altering your strategy. You only have to guess right once. After that, if you keep going and you wait and you don't actually buy and you keep waiting for the next price down before you enter instead of laddering in, great, you're making even more money. But if you're right on just that first ladder buy, if you don't buy yet and you wait another $500, you can make a shit ton of money and have a massive benefit from just being right that one time. Let me catch up on some of the questions in the chat because I haven't looked for a minute. I definitely...
So would the bottom here be like another payment forming, but it's just like a bear flag as well?
On Bitcoin?
Yeah, obviously on Bitcoin. I'm watching the screen. Also, it looks like a ABC correction. Like might forming.
It's hard to say because that initial sell-off, I don't even know if I would use that. I probably wouldn't even include that wick because it's so... It's kind of hard to say. I can't really tell on the hourly. I'd have to look at the 15-minute.
That's what I was asking. I wasn't like saying that's better. But yeah, there's definitely like a scalping range there, like as you can see. But like it's not anything good for like a nice substantial boost. Like just minimal, 4 to 8% like gains. But you're taking on a lot of risk with that percentage drop.
Yeah, it's just moving sideways. I don't really have enough points of contact to really draw a trend here either, so I'm not sure what it's going to do yet. We'll see. I mean, if it bounces off the bottom of this trend and goes up, then it could potentially be a rising wedge, which would create a bear flag, and it's going to drop in that sort of bearish setup. So I'll just keep an eye on it. I don't know yet. It's too early to tell.
I mean, that seems logical.
Definitely too early to make a determination.
If it's but if it is a rising wedge, and it would just run into the cumulative cloud and just look at that shit.
I'm up 5% almost on XLM. I might be able to move my stop loss up to risk-free status. That would be nice. So I could potentially be completely risk-free on XLM, and then on nulls, not quite there yet. I'm pretty much. I'm still about 4%. I'm about 4% up on nulls, so I could also potentially be risk-free on both. If nulls gets up another, maybe up to like This right here, 14,225, might be a good spot for me to, if we get to that level, I'll be up 5.5%, 6%. I'll move up my stop loss, and then I'll be risk-free. 100% risk-free. I can't possibly take a loss, which is another point. So with the YouTube, I'll mention that as well. For those who don't really know how I trade, how I can trade completely risk-free, essentially. That'll be a good a thing for me to explain to you guys. I don't ever have to worry about taking a loss on those trades, and I'll explain why. Let me go back to YouTube real quick. All right, so what were some of those comments? I definitely use stop losses, but the coins I bought in January are 80% down. For me, I've hold hoping once BTC bulls are in to recoup some capital back. Why? Just because you're 80% down now, why does that mean you want to hold those? If you imagine right now you sold those and you had the money left. So you sold, you're 80% down, you sold it all off, and now you have $10,000. Would you put the $10,000 back into the exact same coins? Is that the best bet right now? Or would you instead wait until the market gains some stability and then figure out some really good altcoins to get into that'll give you the best gains, like maybe EOS or VET or ONT, coins that can give you a 100% run in the course of a few days? Which would be your move? If you would go back into the exact same coins you're in right now, then you should probably keep it. If you're down 80%, keep it and see if you go back up. But if you're not going to go right back in, if those aren't your best possible investment right now, then get out. Why would you still hold it? Just because you're down? There should be no such thing as a bag holder. Well, I lost a lot on this coin, so now I'm stuck holding it till it goes back up. Why? Just sell it while you still can. What if it goes down another 20%? It could still go down more. You're better off getting out and putting it into something that's a better investment, wouldn't you say?
Yep. Preserve capital and interest.
I think people are scared that suddenly they wake up and Bitcoin will be 100,000 and the market's never going up that fast and they will miss 10% but save 50%. No, but that's the point, is if you buy at $6,000 and then the price goes down to $4,000 and then it goes up to $100,000, you're better off buying at a lower you're better off buying at 6,500. So the best way I can do this example. If you could buy right now at $6,000, and then the price goes down to $4,000, and you could buy at 60. So if you buy at $6,000, or you buy at 6,500 after it bounces and then it's going back up and it's on the way up, you're better off buying at 6,500 and missing out on potential gains to have that higher level of confidence than buying substantially at a substantial higher price than you could at the bottom. So if some of your orders are going to be at a higher price, you're better off just waiting, trying to get the bottom, and then when it bounces, you can enter. I never miss out on any potential because this is how I trade. Right now, if I think there's a chance that this market's going to move up and I don't want to miss out, what I'll do is I'll enter into a trade paired with USDT. So all these pairs here, except for ELF, XLM, EOS, nulls, and I don't have any other charts up right now, but those main three are paired. Like right now, I'm in XLM, which I'm now up more. It keeps going up. I'm almost over 5% now. And this is probably going to keep going up to about 20 cents. So I'll get into nulls and I'll get into XLM like I am now, paired with USDT. And by getting into this tether pairing, even if the market collapses an hour from now and Bitcoin goes down to $1,000, it doesn't matter to me. As soon as this coin comes down in value, I'm going to get stopped out at pretty much my entry price, and I'm not going to take any loss. I'm going to get the exact same amount of money I had that I invested into the thing, almost the exact same amount. I'm going to take I'll take pretty much no loss. But if we break out and go up to 100,000 from here, I'm going to make a ton of money on it. I'm not on the sidelines watching the market go by. I'm still in the market. I'm just properly managing my risk. If you're not able to trade and you're not able to be an active trader, that's fine if you want to get in longer term. All I'm saying is instead of buying in right now, wait for a better opportunity. And if you don't get one and you have to pay a little higher of a price, that's fine. That's better than paying too much when you could have gotten a lower price. It's worth the bet. It's very, very much worth the bet. If you can just wait instead of 6,000, you wait and buy at 5,000. It's a worthwhile investment to take that chance because you're talking about a 20% change. You're going to have an extra 20%. You're going to have all that extra money that you wouldn't have otherwise had. It's a huge difference versus maybe you're wrong and the price goes up and you have to pay slightly higher price. You're only going to end up paying an extra 5% instead of 20%. It's a huge difference. Or, not 5%, but more. Half as much, pretty much. I think people are scared. I already read that. Let's see. Right now, if a trade goes south, holding is not an option anymore. I'd rather lose the 3 to 5%. Yeah, well, that's what I do. I have stop losses that are up to like 3.5%, up to occasionally 4%. Should I sell my BTC and ETH entire portfolio and buy in? I'm even now after 12 months in. I'm not sure what the question is. I don't know what you should do. It's up to you. But if what I did, I had a bunch of stuff that was in cold storage. I don't know if I finished the story. I had tens of thousands of dollars invested in the market. And then as we were coming down, I finally got to the point where I was taking a loss every day. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to liquidate and take my capital out. I took out 20 grand. And if I still had that money sitting in those accounts right now, I would only have $8,000. I would have lost another 50% of my money. So by taking it out when I did, when it does go back up, I can buy back in at a substantially lower price and I'm pretty much making 100% profit. Because if I'm buying back in at 50% of the price, I'm going to have twice as many coins, or I'm going to have the same number of coins for half as much money. And I still took a loss. They were all going down every day. And I was like, I'm not going to sell. I'm going to wait just in case till I have a high level. And then I finally got to the point where I was really confident, like, you know what? We're not going to get a big bounce right now. I'm just going to liquidate. I liquidated. I took out my capital, and I kept it safe until I was able to make a determination what would be the best next move. And I still haven't gotten back into any of those positions because I think they're all going to come down in price along with the market. And if I'm wrong about that and it goes up, I'm still in a much better position because I sold earlier and I took out all that capital instead of losing it. So no matter what happens, I'm already going to be in a better position, guaranteed. Should I sell my BTC? I already read that. Set a 3% stop loss for insurance, so if it goes down, you could buy back. You made money. Yep. Laddering only works in huge reversals or in a crazy altcoin bull market. Makes sense. Things start. Yep. I think laddering is helpful when you know you're near a bottom and the price is volatile and you can't watch the charts 24 hours a day. Yes, you're right to an extent. I'm going to talk about that more. There's no need to aim for the absolute bottom. Trailing stop losses are very important. This is true. Thanks, Harrison. Scott, is that Scott? I love hearing that. When people say to me, based on what you told me your experience was and what you did, I decided to sell all my stuff and I took out 10 grand, it would be worth $4,700 right now if I didn't listen to you. I would rather hear that I saved people money than made them money. I'd much rather somebody say to me, I sold based on what you've done and everything and listening to your training stuff and being in your group. I sold and I saved 50% of my capital. I would much rather hear that than somebody tell me, dude, I got into your vet play and made 100 grand. Like, I don't care about people making profits nearly as much as I care about people saving their capital because it's so important. It's so critical to being successful in this game. You need to maintain that capital. You need to keep it safe. It's the most important thing you could do, and that makes me feel so much better when somebody says that they saved all that money. Yeah, if you said, what if you sell to buy lower and then you miss the boat? Because whales come in, they pump it up, the price goes up, you're fucked. It's probability. The chances of that happening, is that possible? Yeah. Is it possible that Bitcoin goes up to $100,000 in the next 7 minutes? Yeah, it's possible. Is that going to happen? Absolutely not. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Is it possible that I can sell my XLM right now at 20 cents and buy it back in a few days at 18 cents? Yeah, that's possible. If BTC makes another leg down, that's certainly possible. Is it possible that I sell right now, planning to do that, but then it goes up to $7? No, that's not gonna happen. So yeah, those things are possible, but you're playing the probability. The chances of that happening are so much lower. So unless you can justify that the odds are against you, that you're better off holding while something goes down in price because there's some tiny, minute, insignificant, almost irrelevant level of chance that if you wait, you're just going to miss the boat and it's going to shoot up in price. It's worth it to take that chance. You're better off taking that chance, and then if you do have to buy it at a higher price, you buy it at a higher price. You're better off taking that chance. I would rather. I sold off my BitShares, which is my number one position. I promote it like crazy and talk about it. I love BitShares. I sold all my BitShares. I still love the project, and I'm going to get back in. Is it possible that it's going to go up 500% before I have a chance to get back in? It's possible, but it's very, very unlikely that's going to happen. If I were to buy all of my positions back now, all of my long-term positions, just buy them now, I would make like 40% more. When I first got wrecked in January and liquidated all my assets, I sold everything I had. I was in a group led by a criminally negligent idiot who ruined people's lives. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was holding long-term too. I knew a little bit about TA because I used to day trade microcaps and penny stocks when I was in college, and I was pretty good at it. But I hadn't really tried it in this market, and I just kind of got into crypto to get into long-term stuff. I used to have Bitcoin a few years ago, and I sold it, and I never really got into the trading side. So I was just holding long term, and I was in a group where somebody else did the research because I was busy with work. Kind of like I provide now, except I also teach people and share all of my experiences. We have all sorts of great stuff, and everybody in the group loves it. This group was pretty much just sitting in a chat with people and waiting for this guy to tell us what the next big coin was going to be. And he gave horrible advice, and he would come in and use cliches like, oh, the weak hands are selling off. Let them go. We don't need them. We're going to hodl, 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 hodl. You don't sell unless you don't lose unless you sell. Everything, it's an alt sale. Everybody buy, buy, buy. It's on sale. I'm like, I escaped from that fucking cult, and now I'm very, very successful doing what I do, trading how I trade. But I got out in January after I lost 50 grand. If I didn't get out and I was one of these suckers who stayed in the group and didn't listen to me, because I was telling everybody to get out, we were going to start our own group, and then I went and started training and practicing and learning for a month straight, 14 hours a day, till I got to the level I'm at now. But initially, if I had kept my money in the market, I got out with like $12,500. If I left that money in the market, it would be worth almost $2,000 right now. That's how bad it would have been. I would be down to 2 grand roughly right now, a little over 2. I calculated it earlier. It was like 2,800 or something. I would have been down that much more if I didn't get out when I did. So it doesn't matter if I sold at a loss. This is irrelevant. Whether you're at a profit or a loss doesn't matter. You're just taking your capital out. You have to stop thinking that way. I used to think that way because I had this guy saying those terms until it clicked, and I was like, that makes no sense. That's stupid. Why does it? You don't sell. Who's making noise on the Discord channel? It's annoying. Really annoying. Who's doing that?
Probably dude, man. He has downloaded the app. It hasn't pushed it forward.
Yeah, come on, dude. What are you doing here? All right. Let me get back, see if there's any other comments here.
A lot of people understand that they would need to actively sell, but actually just putting stop losses.
Well, that's part of it. The other big part of it is you might not even have to sell. Like, based on what I'm talking about here, it's not like I want everybody to walk away saying, man, I should sell what I have at a loss. If you want to keep holding, that's fine. But when everybody's saying on Twitter, like, hey, look at all these cheap alts, everything's on sale, don't buy. just don't buy anything. Just please don't buy anything. Just wait. Don't get in yet. Because we're talking about the difference is like absolutely insane. The potential difference. Hey, you know what? Actually, hold on.
There's a lot of scammers out there.
Let me check something real quick. Okay, I'm back. What was I saying? So yeah, it's not necessarily like sell what you have and liquidate right now at a loss. If you want to hold, that's fine. But just don't buy stuff right now. If some of these alts, like I mean, even I was using XLM as an example. I got in because I had a play where I can take it really low risk. I could buy in down here on the bounce, place my stop loss, only risk 2.5%. Once the price goes up and I'm up 5%, I can move my stop loss up to my entry price, and now I have no risk and I can't possibly take a loss. Excellent trade. But like longer term, I'm not getting back into everything because this can still come down a lot. And I think it's going to. I'm very confident that it's going to. Once I start building up my confidence, if everything is up 6 or 7%, then I'll look at the market and say, you know what, maybe it's time to start easing our way back in, putting in some buy orders, because all of my plays are going to be based on USDT and they're going to have stop losses. So I'm still not going to have a lot of risk. If the price comes down, then I'm going to get stopped out for a minimal risk, but it's worth the chance at that point. Right now, it's just not worth a chance till we bounce and go up quite a bit. Okay. Other questions? How do you feel about XVG? Nothing's on a bottom. I think everything's going down, but we can look at it. Or, I'm going to... Once we're done, I'm doing a stream with the private group. We're going to do a live stream, so I'm going to end this stream in a few, and then I'm going to stay on with the premium group, and we're going to go over some charts and look at if there's any potential plays. So those who are in the premium group, we're going to go over that when we're done. So anything you want to look at, make a note of it, and we'll go over it in a few. Is it wise to sell? Is it wise to sell now that we are almost at the bottom of the bear market? So yeah, like I said, it's not like it's wise to sell or not to sell. We're not almost at the bottom of the bear market. We have quite a ways to go. We could correct substantially further, potentially. I don't think we're not gonna go down as much as we have in the past, but we could. Look at. I think. Oh, wow. Okay. I guess all that stuff got erased as well, because that's what happens. When shit gets erased because it sucks. Let me see if I can find that tweet just to show you guys. There you go. So in 2013 and 14, we took a 86% correction. There were actually deeper ones, but in this instance, I think there was one that was 92%. It wasn't on this chart because it was back in 2012, I think. So 2013 and 14, we went up 12,000%, and then we corrected 86%, right? Now, instead of 12,000%, we've gone up almost 20,000% on this bull run. So somebody said, yeah, we're not going to go down as much as we did last time. Yeah, I'm not saying we're going to necessarily do an 86% correction. All I'm saying is last time we went up 12,000% and we corrected 86%. This time we went up 20,000%. So even if we did correct 86%, it's still substantially less relative to the past corrections, right? So there's plenty of potential for us to get down to 2,000 or 1,000 if you were looking purely at the numbers. I'm not. I factor in other things, market psychology, individual people and stuff. I factor in fundamentals and technicals, a whole bunch of data. I don't think we're going to correct down to under 3,000. But the argument could be made that we certainly could correct to 2,500. You could make a valid argument that that's possible. So just because we're back down a lot from where we were before doesn't mean that this correction is close to over. It could still go down another 15%, 20% from the high. There's a ton of potential for us to drop further. So it's not that like, oh, is selling now a good idea because we're clearly near the bottom. You could sell now at 6,300 and buy back at 4,000, and you're making 80% money. You're making 80% profit just by selling and buying back, just by short selling your own stuff. If you owned one Bitcoin and it's at 6,400 and you were to sell that now at 6,400 and then buy it back at 4,000, that would be $2,400 profit you made from buying it back cheaper. 2,400 divided by 6,400 would be essentially 40%. So you're making a 40% profit just by selling it and buying it back a little cheaper. You just made 40% by selling and buying it back cheaper. Now, on the other hand, if you sell it and then it starts going up a lot, you might have to buy it back 5 or 10% higher because you missed out and you didn't time it right. That's certainly possible. But if the probability is on your side and the best odds are that it's going to keep going down quite a bit more, then you have a massive opportunity with relatively small risk. And that's something else you have to consider. It would be 2,500 if we went down 86% like in the past. But that's also if we went down 86%, we pumped twice as much this time. So maybe it's more rational to expect a 92% drop this time. So I don't think we're going to. I think we're going to stop between 3,000 and 4,000, and that's the closest I'm going to give you right now because I don't want to get any more detailed than that. I'm just not confident enough. I always come up with, let me show you. How I model. This is my entire theory around TA. Just like with hurricanes predicting, right? I've used this for people who are in the premium group. You've heard me talk about this a lot. Some people who have attended our public streams have heard me talk about this. You get this cone of uncertainty, they always call it, when it comes to predicting hurricanes, right? So this is where the hurricane currently is on Monday, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, Friday morning. This is where they think it's going to be, and it gets wider the further out you go. The reason why is because there's this cone where their models are only able to take the data that they currently have, and this is the rightmost path, that's the leftmost path, and somewhere in the middle of those two is where they think it's going to go. But that's the best they can do, is to give you that cone. Same thing with TA. When you're 2 days out, the cone is pretty tight. 2 days out, I can look at the hourly chart and say, you know what, I'm pretty confident we're going to get a strong bounce here because of this support, an ascending triangle, there's RSI trend, and there's some bullish divergence, what have you. 2 days out, it's a pretty good chance that we could actually get this bounce. And then 7 hours out, it's really tight. 7 hours out, all those data points and all those models are really, really tight together. But when you're 3, 4, 5 weeks out, it's a crapshoot. It's all the way here to all the way here. There's far too many variables and far too many data sets for you to come up with a reasonable analysis that you can have any real level of confidence in. Is going to be very difficult because you're that far out. You have that much data to compute, that much data to consider, and it's going to take a long time for you to put it together. It's going to take a long time for all that to come to fruition. This is what those models look like when they call them spaghetti models. They give you these are what the hurricane forecasters do. That's obviously a joke. So they have all these ridiculous possibilities where this hurricane can take this path or it can take this path, and all these in the middle are the different models that they build based on these models, these computer models that are designed to predict hurricanes. Same thing. We're using computer models that are designed to predict where these financial markets are going to go. So if our predictions are saying that because of the bullish divergence and the ascending triangle and the way the RSI is trending up in the stochastic reversal, it looks like we're going to get something like this or maybe something like this. So when you're a week out, the best I can do is tell you 3,000 to 4,000. But when we're a day out, I can tell you, I think about 37.45 is going to be a really good support where I think we're going to land or something. So that's why my range now is 3 to 4K. As we get further and closer down to that level, if we get down into the lower fives, I'm probably going to come up with a pretty detailed analysis, and I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I think is going to happen. But at this point, my models are all taking us down quite a bit more. There's really only 1 or 2 scenarios that have us bouncing and going back up without correcting below 5,000. Very, very few. Very few ways in which I can see that happening. So it's a really good analogy. I like using that as a metaphor, so hopefully you get a good takeaway and you can understand where I come from when I say, like, people ask me, where's Bitcoin going to be in 20 days? I have no clue. I can tell you what the best probability is, though, based on what I have right now, and that's between 3 and 4K. Okay, let's see any other questions on here. Steve McGrudin, he was in a similar group, he said. He singled out in a video that I was negative, and he works extremely hard to help us, and he wrecked over 200 people. Yeah, this group was Cryptos R Us. That was the one I was in. The dude just destroyed people's lives. But hey, I was gullible, and I fell for it. And you know what? Because of him, he inspired me to create a group, and the group that we have ridiculously positive reviews. Like, people just are not unhappy with it because what we have is, like, I've built a group where we rely on each other and help each other, and, like, members are just as helpful as I am. I teach them everything I know, and they teach me stuff, and they help find plays when I'm unavailable. Lots of good shit. Who gave me a thumbs down on this video? Fuck you. Sounds like it was a group. Info about joining. If you want to join our group, join the free group is in Discord. The link is on our website. It's toolfreecrypto.com. And in my bio on Twitter is a link to the website and the free group. So you could join the free group on Twitter, on Discord rather. And I haven't been that active in there at all the last week. But the prior couple weeks, I was posting a bunch of plays in the free group when the market was really active. I've just been really busy lately, so if I do find time, it goes right to the premium group, and I don't really have time to do stuff with the free group right now because I'm kind of limited on my time, so the time I do have, I dedicate to the guys. And but once I do have more time, maybe over the weekend, I can spend some time with the free group. We obviously don't do educational stuff in the free group. Even our basic paid group, we don't do educational stuff. But we have Vader University. We do live streams like this. We do live charting. We go over plays. We find plays together, discuss them, discuss strategies. I teach them how I use all my indicators, my Ichima model, and how I'm able to so successfully predict the ups and downs and everything. So if you guys want to get into that, then you can. It's $130 a month for the free group, or the that'd be interesting. It's $130 a month for the premium group, and that's the one that has Vader University and the voice channel, live streams, all the training materials, and then access to me. You can pretty much get in touch with me whenever you want. Some people will just DM me like they have a in question and they're $50,000 in the market and they don't know what to do and they're trying to figure out what's going to happen with a particular play and it's an emergency. If I'm up, it could be 4 o'clock in the morning. If I'm awake, I'll jump on the phone with them. So I talk to members whenever they really need help or need input. I make myself available pretty much 24/7 as long as I'm awake. So, but what I would suggest is go to the free group and ask people who are Jedi, who are premium members, ask them what they think. You could DM them directly because they're going to pretend to like me in the group. But if you ask them in a DM, they'll talk shit about me. So you could do that. They'll be honest. And they can tell you, they can tell you whether or not they like it. Well, they're here right now on the Discord chat. They could all tell you whether or not they like it or not. But we do stuff. I can help. If you are a complete noob, I would say to watch the live streams and everything. And then if you're having trouble getting it, you can talk to me and we can do a stream, just the two of us. Other people can join in, but we can start at whatever level you want. Literally, we can start back. I just did a video the other day about what are limit orders, market orders, and stop limit orders on Binance and how to place them. The most basic intro level stuff. We could do a live stream dedicated to that, the most basic concepts imaginable, or we can get into some of the more advanced and complex stuff, whatever you need. It's not like we're for noobs or for more advanced traders. We can do a live stream dedicated to really, really introductory level stuff. All you have to do is ask. If you tell me I want to do a live stream on XYZ, we'll do one on XYZ. We can do 3-4 hours dedicated to whatever topic you want. Make problems even before.
Yo, right here.
Yeah.
Check out Vet. It's looking interesting. It's kind of forming like a ascending universe, double bottom, but on the hourly. But obviously, everything is there. But if to make a play, I don't know. It looks kind of like a formation, kind of right now breaking out or attempting to break out, but it could get knocked down really easily.
Ooh, the second person gave me a thumbs down on the live stream. Seriously?
Douchebags.
What assholes?
Yours with Milo.
Huh. Oh, he didn't tell us that you don't sell, that we should just keep holding when we're 80% down, and that's a smart strategy, so we're going to give him a thumbs down.
On the coin, bro. He didn't tell us the FOMO on the coin, so... Everybody should do... this is the general rule. Everybody should do what's best for them. It doesn't really matter what that is. All I'm doing is trying to explain what the different strategies are, how they differ, and how they're better or worse. But you should always do what's best for you personally, obviously. Everybody's situation is different. Some people have a different risk profile. They could take on less risk or more risk than me. If you're willing to take on more risk, you don't mind taking a loss as long as you're in for the long term, then go ahead and ladder in buys. But I'm telling you, you're wasting money. You're buying at a higher price than you should be buying at. And by doing that, it's exactly the same as buying and then the price goes down and you're selling and taking a loss. It's identical. There's no difference. You're just justifying it by saying, well, I haven't actually sold yet, so I really haven't lost. That's not true. It's a logical fallacy. You've been lied to. That's a complete and utter lie. And whoever told you that is being dishonest and disingenuous, and they told you that purely so they can mislead you or because they don't care what happens to you and they don't want to admit that they were wrong. A lot of people in groups and stuff will tell you to buy some coin and then you buy it and the price goes down and they tell you, no, you haven't lost. You don't lose unless you sell it at a loss. So just make sure you keep holding and it's going to go up and you're going to be in the gains. And it's like, why can't you just say, shit, I was wrong, like I do. I say I was wrong. Damn it, we should probably get out of this play. Let's let our stop losses stop us out. I was wrong about it. We didn't go up.
But people don't want to do that. Instead of telling you they were wrong, they tell you, no, I was right. You are going to make a lot of money on it. It just happens to be down right now, so just keep holding it. There's a couple plays that I'm doing that on. I'm doing that on Flues. I did not anticipate Flues dropping as much. They had the snapshot after they did a snapshot like with an airdrop to distribute these seats and stuff. After that happened, it went down like 80%. I thought it would go down like 40%, so I planned on holding, and then it went down to 80%. I was like, shit, I kind of wish I did sell. I was wrong about that, but I'm still holding it long term because at this point, I still think it's going to go up a ton in the future. But at this point, I don't see it going down anymore. It really can't go down anymore. If it could, I would sell it and buy it back cheaper. There's really no way in which it could keep going down because it's already so cheap. So sometimes that's the scenario, but in this case, I'm just holding it because there's really nowhere else for it to go below where it currently is. But I have no problem saying that I misjudged that and I didn't realize how much it would drop. I wish I didn't because I could have sold it and bought it back at 80% less. I could have made a ton by selling it short. I could have short sold my own position and made a ton of money, but I didn't. So a lot of people tell you to buy something and instead of admitting they're wrong, they just make up bullshit like that. What about the argument that HODL requires 0 time to watch the prices versus jumping in and out requires some time? That's true. But I'm not saying that like everybody should jump in and out. What I'm saying is right now, if you're going to buy some coin, don't buy it now. Wait until the price is lower. If you have laddered orders, that's because you believe the price is going down. You're conceding that you think the price is going to be going down, so you have orders all the way down. If that's what you believe, then why would you buy it when it's still here before it goes down to those levels? It makes no logical sense. You've been programmed to do something that's bad for you. Stop it. It's like smoking. You grew up thinking smoking was cool, so you start smoking. Just stop it. It's bad for you. You're doing something that's stupid and it's bad for you. There's no logical reason to continue doing it. Just stop it. And whoever gave me a thumbs down on the video, stop it, because that's fucking rude.
Stop it. Just stop it. Everything you're doing, stop it. Stop, lost it, and just stop it.
All right. But yeah, no, so certain things like that, for some people, it's better. If you're already holding, you can keep holding. And no, but that's the thing. If you invest for a long time, like 5 years, it still matters. If you buy it at $50 right now, or you buy it at $40 in a week, that's a difference of 20%. If you wait a week to buy it and then wait 5 years, you have 20% more. So if you make $100,000 5 years from now, you would have made $120,000 5 years from now if you just waited that week to buy it at 40 instead of 50. It makes a big difference. So just because you're talking about much longer term and much higher amounts of money doesn't make a difference. You're still talking about buying it for more money now than you could. There's no logical reason to buy it for more. If you're going to make the argument that it makes more sense because I can't watch and go in and out of these trades, it makes more sense for me to just hold it instead of selling it and buying it back, fine. If that's what's best for you, then don't sell it and buy it back. You don't have the time and you don't have the skills to get in and out of trades. What you do have the ability to do is control the stuff you haven't actually done yet. And you haven't actually bought ABC coin yet, so just don't buy it until the price is lower. And if you're wrong and the price goes up and you miss out, oh well, it happens. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you're wrong. I'm not saying you're going to be right every single time, but I can pretty much guarantee you'll be in a better position if you were to do that than start buying all these coins now and laddering in. I can pretty much guarantee you that. The chances of you taking a loss or taking a hit in those instances is substantially lower. You have much, much better odds waiting to buy cheaper than you do of buying now and having the price instantly go up. Instantly mooning. Second you buy it, it just moons. That's crazy talk. Like, no, you don't actually believe that that's going to happen. You don't actually think that. When people say, like, oh, well, what if I wait to buy and I miss the boat because the price just shoots up? You really believe that? You think that you're not going to buy VET at 158 and you're going to wait until it's down to, like, 112, but it's going to shoot up to $300? Like, you really think you're going to miss the boat and it's just going to shoot up out of nowhere just because you happen to not buy it yet? That's ridiculous. How many times have you looked at a chart and thought about buying and then it instantly shoots up? doesn't happen. That's not a realistic expectation. There's no logical basis for you to believe or expect that that's going to happen.
Again, you can just use stop buy orders. Or stop loss.
Well, yeah, you could do that too, but you can have stop limits to buy, but it doesn't matter. So is my boy, who was it? DW, are you still in here? Because I know you were curious. We were discussing some of those ideas. I want to know what you think about the stuff we discussed, and if you agree or if you still think that I'm missing something. I would love to know. Anybody who disagrees with my beliefs on this stuff, because by all means, tell me. I'd love to know if there's something I'm missing.
Pretty on point, man. I don't know. It's just my opinion.
Anybody use the chat in YouTube? Who was it? So there was, mostly it was just DW. Let me see. Let's see if he's still here.
The most important thing is just mitigate risk if you do enter, right? If you're feeling bullish on something for whatever reason, just mitigate your risk by setting healthy stop losses and
How do I?
when you're
Yeah.
defeated.
How do I cite? Oh, here we go. I can do this. Put user in timeout. Add moderator. How do I tag somebody specifically? Like people tag me in the chat.
You just hit mention, like mention is the tagging thing.
Yeah, I don't see that anywhere though. If I right click on their name.
You right click their name and then just mention, and then you put that.
Yeah, I don't. That option doesn't show up. I'm saying.
That's weird as fuck.
In YouTube, I'm talking about, not Discord.
Oh, I have no idea.
People in YouTube would put my name and I would show up red. So let's see. Who else was there? That MWM, are you in here still? And DW. MWM and DW are two of the guys who didn't really believe in the same theory I had. I'm curious what they think, unless they were my two thumbs downs. You just thumbs down people if they don't agree with you. That'd be rude, but I'm here. You can convince me if you want to talk about it. I'd love to get another viewpoint, but I think we covered everything. But if there's somebody else who... I tried to do that. I tried doing... I did at and it didn't work. I'll try it now. It's MWM48, but it doesn't look like it's working. Oh wait, no, yeah, it didn't work. Like I show up yellow, but he doesn't actually ping him. And then the one is DW. It looks like there's a space in the way it's displayed, but I don't know if the display name is different than the actual name.
So what do you think about this? Your typo is it's MWN.
Like DW is D space W the way it shows up in here, but it doesn't actually. Okay, fuck it. Twins, join the group, fucker. Premium, you'll love it.
I'm gonna make a call for that in premium, obviously, but low risk, obviously.
Yeah, all right, we'll switch over to a premium stream in a minute. It looks like...
I'm gonna start formulating.
I'm just looking at vet, I'm trying to see if there's any USDT plays we could jump into. It's
Just looking at EOS, but I mean it's kind of pretty wrecked, obviously.
Well, yeah, those could potentially be the best bounce plays.
Yeah. looks good, but it's just, I don't know. Everything's based on BTC, but we're bouncing on BTC right now, so it's kind of like place your bets if you're going to enter, but yeah, that's why like you're going to make the call now for some point. Anyways, if you're going to enter, if you're not going to enter, then just don't enter and wait to buy lower, wait to buy cheaper, like Vader's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even on the bet, if you look at the Such RSI or whatever, it's pointing to bear, so, like, that's an indication to not buy, but, you know, that is one of those coins that, I mean, it's doing an inverse double bottom, ascending, and that's indicating, the price is indicating going up, but in terms of TA, I mean, there's a little bit of bullish divergence, but the stock RSI is kind of pushing it down for now, but it could just break the trend line, the resistance trend line, and just go up. I'll start posting about it in premium.
Yeah. Yes, could potentially move. There's a few alts that are paired with USDT that we could see some movement on. At least, we can manage our risk well enough, and in some cases, it's worth it to jump in because we don't have to risk very much. But I'm probably right now I'm only holding. Oh, XLM's doing nice things. So right now I'm only holding XLM and nulls.
Yeah.
But right now XLM is making me happy. I'm up over 5% now.
Happy yesterday, or this morning or whatever.
Almost at 5%. Yeah, I'm almost up to 5%. All right, let's start a new stream for the premium group. So everybody who's in the YouTube, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it. It was good to have you. Nice 2-hour stream. I'll do this again, and if you guys have questions about the group or about the topics we discussed, hit me up and we can talk about it via DM or something if you want. Or you could even the post on Twitter where I tweeted the link to this stream. If you want, you can respond based on the topics we discussed. If you have some questions, you could type on there and then we can talk